that up. I'm here with the Danielle Radford and the Lon Harris. We're going to watch the trailer together. You'll get our behind the scenes thoughts and feelings about it. We're going to respond to comments and questions from viewers like yourselves. We'll see some deleted scenes. We'll tease next week's Oz trailer. It's a nice little show we got going here. And let's talk about a nice little show that Marvel had going there, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't have too much to say ahead of time, like in a broad sense, because it's like, I enjoyed it. It was it felt like we said in the trailer, like a B tier Marvel movie that got split into 6 parts. I think
it's like a quality parabola. Like it starts off slow, where you're like, "What is this?" And then it ends on this kind of off note. But the middle was great. Like I really enjoyed. It's weird. Usually you think of shows like opening great or closing great, and then it's like
this
a
had
slow
like a
burn
good
or something.
When it's like time for fun and games, and they're all like going around Madripoor, and they're raising all these very interesting questions, and they're discovering all these very intriguing plot threads to pull, and then it just kind of peters out at the end. It left me a little tepid. I gotta say.
I thought dynamite. It's 1, 2, and 6 that are the trouble.
Yeah. What's
you gotta end in the you just gotta end on the gunshots. Like I completely agree. Like I really liked the questions that we were getting. I just don't know that speechifying solves all problems. I feel like we've tried that a couple times and problems are still here. So
like the West Wing caused a lot of nerds to go into politics.
And fast talking and walking.
Yeah. So maybe this will cause a lot of people to go into vigilantism. I don't know what they are at this point.
Falcon worked for he's with the government like the whole
I guess so, but he's like freelance. It's like, oh, you're working with the Air Force now.
Yeah.
But he was definitely in the Air Force when we met him.
He was in the Air Force when we met him, and he went off the grid and he fled justice when he went with Cap. So he was gone for a while, but then post Endgame snap, he's back in.
I guess he must have lost his pension, but that takes us to the whole money.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. I'm sure we all have thoughts
on. Something that I just wanted to respond to that people are appear to be piling on right at the beginning is like, how dare you accuse me of not caring about Bucky before this thing? And I've just never understood. That I know it. I'm sorry, because I know it exists. I knew it back in Winter Soldier and throughout, but they are just much like Wanda and Vision for me. It's like people are building so much, investing so much, and place so much currency in these relationships that have gotten 20 minutes of screen time across 21 movies or something like that.
20 minutes is generous.
Being generous.
They're good at doing this, but it's what they're subtly giving you a sense of what this relationship is from just a shared moment or two. Like Bucky and Sam had very little screen time together.
Yeah, I remember them nodding in the car, good job, Cap and stuff. And I knew they were friends, frenemish but they were both there was a triangle with them and Steve. But beyond that, I can't, maybe this is just me, or maybe I'm, I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority. I didn't really care about Bucky on a deeper level until this show. That's my point of view. What do you guys say?
I think for me, it was his time in Wakanda. That was when I was yeah, get a White Wolf. I think that was when I became more interested in Bucky. But the fan fiction, y'all.
Yeah.
The fan fiction.
I forgot about the fan
huge,
fiction.
Deep, relationships.
I got to get back onto where is it these days? Is it Wattpad? Or where are the kids slashing it up?
I think it's the AO3 is where the slashing is happening. Yeah.
I guess I'm sort of more with you. I recall a lot of our jokes in the Honest Trailer writers room or whatever, even going back to Civil War, was so much of the plot of the MCU revolves around Bucky. He's the wedge that drives Iron Man and Captain America apart, pushing that whole big storyline forward. And yet we really didn't ever get to know him that well as a guy. It was always Bucky is Steve's friend, going back to the first movie, and we're invested in it because of the history as opposed to because we know and love Bucky. But I guess again, I'm sort of with you on that. The fans kind of took it and ran with it and had their own headcanon that they really enjoyed around it. And look, Sebastian Stan's a very good actor doing a lot with not that much. I get it. But this was the first time I felt like we really got to know Sam and Bucky as characters as opposed to the Falcon, the guy with the jetpack who's Steve's friend.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed. And yeah, definitely Falcon. Obviously, I mean,
the Falcon. It's not
the
a
Falcon.
nickname. That's why you got to put the. He's not Sam Falcon Wilson. He's the Falcon.
I was going to call him a lovable loser, and I mean that in only the most literal way, in that, as we point out in a deleted scene, he's lost like every major fight he's ever been in. Like, he's just been kind of like the guy you fight to prove that, okay, this person's serious and we mean business. But we'll get to that at the end. Let's in the deleted scenes. Let's do our honest trailer for The Falcon and The Winter Soldier.
From the streaming service with the biggest gap between quality of content and suckage of interface comes Marvel's latest Avengers you didn't really care about until they got their own TV show. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Who's next? Hawkeye? Of course. When a rogue super soldier...
I think Hawkeye, just reading the tea leaves, is going to immediately be like, we need a new Hawkeye. And Jeremy Renner's like, here, take this bow. And then he backflips out of the frame.
But I mean, it is sort of him passing the
torch
to the next generation.
To Kate Bishop, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm just thinking that Hawkeye will not be long for that series. Well, I don't think they're going to kill him off, but I think it's even though it's his name or his moniker, he's not going to keep it for very long.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Marvel Comics reader in a way that I've gotten to know Hawkeye that way. And he's one of those characters where you kind of make fun of him from the movies and people are like, oh, he's so great in the comics. It's a shame we can't. So maybe this will finally be the opportunity to get the Hawkeye that has made so many fans of the comics onto the big screen at last. Because so far, it just kind of seems like he's kind of a non-starter in a lot of ways in the franchise.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
When a rogue super soldier is on the loose, the only thing that can stop her is a few shots from a regular gun. But since this story has to last 6 episodes, 2 of Marvel's weakest heroes are on the case. Sam the Falcon Wilson, a man with the power of a jetpack he rents from the Air Force. And Bucky the Winter Soldier Barnes. Proof that men will literally scour the criminal safe haven of Madripoor instead of going to therapy.
You missed your court-mandated therapy. Sorry, Mr. Barnes, you're under arrest.
But when these not even that opposite military guys have to work together, you'll be in for a lot of forced bickering.
That's not a thing.
Pause. I don't want to put this in the same breath as something like Men in Black International, but I feel like they didn't do to me sharply enough define the buddy cop dynamic, which is one's a this and one's a that. Right. Like when they're both fairly serious military dudes who like both love Steve Rogers, and yes, the Winter Soldier's going like a little off the books, but the first time we meet Falcon, it's like you're invading Libyan airspace. Like he doesn't really care. He's kind of freelancing, taking down drug kingpins and stuff like that. I don't know. I just to me it just didn't feel like you had enough of a difference between the two of them to make that dynamic like super understandable. And yeah, go ahead, Danielle. No. Do they remind themselves of each other too much? Is that why they don't like each other?
I just think we never really got past that like move your seat. And I feel like everything kind of expands from that. And I don't know if they ever did a really good, in this, obviously they do when they expand the relationship. And now Bucky is invited to the barbecue. Too many people invited to that barbecue, but that's fine. We're just giving out invitations left and right, aren't we? But yeah, but in the beginning, that's really all it is it's still that like animosity over like, I'm Steve's friend and you're Steve's friend, but I'm not your friend. We're not friends. And I feel like that's a weird thing to start a relationship on, is like both of our buddies left us and now we're like the two exes left behind, and they never really moved past that for like a while during this series.
Yeah, we need more of like a Murtaugh and Riggs, or like a Wolverine and Cyclops, like very clear who's which type of guy, to understand why they instantly don't like each other so much.
I think Danielle sort of hit it on the head. This is a thing I tweeted during the first episode of this that I think people yelled at me about. But I feel like a lot of the current phase of Marvel that we're in has still been about the legacy of these characters that we said goodbye to last time. And like, I get that you got to do some of that. I'm not saying none of that, but it's time. Like like this show is now, I feel like the point where it's like, I'm tired of everybody being weepy about their friend who was gone. And we might as well add it now. Did not do a good job of letting us know where Steve is and what's going on with him. They tried to be kind of coy about it, like maybe he's dead, maybe he's just in space now. You don't know. And like, I might not know, but Sam and Bucky would know. He wouldn't just be like,
yeah. I wonder if they're intentionally. I'm sure that is leaving the door open for future phases.
I'm sure it is, but like, you gotta give me something. Like
the assumption is that he's dead. They were treating him like he was dead, or that they were keeping his what remaining short life he has left a secret.
Because Sam would have like called him, but like, what do you think? I like put down the Werther's original for a second and help me out. What should I do about the Flag Smashers?
I think like they want us to think he's dead until shown otherwise, until they panic and bring back Chris.
But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like the time that we could have maybe spent figuring out who these guys were in relation to one another and where their conflicts lie and what the source of their bickering might be was instead spent on them worrying about Steve's legacy and how would Steve do this? And it's just like, okay, I feel like we did that moment and now I'm ready to move forward.
I just want to see the next TV series be like two guys arguing over who gets to wear Hulk's ripped pants. It means a lot to wear the pants.
I look better in purple.
Should we delete Thor and Korg's Fortnite accounts, or will they be back and want to play these characters again?
All right, keep going.
No, it's not. A lot of forced quips, now that Falcon is technically the funny one.
And he mastered posing stoically.
And so much forced talk about Cap's old shield that you'll start to wish Cap was short for please decapitate me.
Thank you, Captain America. But this belongs to you.
Let's take the shield and do this ourselves.
You gotta give me the shield, man.
He gave you that shield for a reason. Why'd you give up that shield?
He had no right to give up the shield, Sam.
Shouldn't have given him the shield.
I didn't give him the shield.
That shield's the closest thing I've got left to a family.
It's just a shield, bro. Don't lose your arm over it. You know, you'd think he would know that there's a button that pops his arm off. I mean, doesn't he ever play with that thing? Return to the military espionage side of the MCU, where the morals are as gray as the visuals, full of shady characters like Zemo, a fancy dancer who talks about the black experience one too many times for someone who blew up the king of Wakanda.
I told him about Trouble Man. He wrote that book.
I mean, I don't mind this because I like who Zemo has become, but wow, what a glow up. I don't know what happened between Civil War and this one, but he really seemed like he was working alone, and he wasn't like a billionaire with his own Alfred and like just a dude who like a Eurotrash Batman. They really flipped the script on us. I'm not mad because I prefer this version, but where did that come from?
Just the comics. Like someone remembered, like, oh, we have this comic and like this character, and we can do something interesting with him. Isn't he like got a lot of money? And then they remembered that he was a baron, and it's not just like his first name, and they can make him Eurotrash Batman, which I agree with you. I think is a much more interesting. I would much rather like the Baron Zemo that's constantly escaping stuff and just wants to hang out and party. This is my favorite version. Like obviously a better.
It's just so different from the guy who's like, my family, you killed my family. I've been obsessed with revenge on my.
He's introduced explicitly as like. They do the badass credential thing with him. It's like special forces. He did 18 tours, you know, like, and it was that, and it's that he's in like the camo with the gun, you know, like it was that thing. And I don't mean to go back and like second guess, like obviously that was years ago, it was a totally different moment in the franchise, but like, it doesn't really make sense that you'd go with such a generic backstory when you also had he's a baron. Like, there's no reason that couldn't have worked, and it would have just been so much more interesting. I guess they felt like they just needed to like move. We don't have time.
I mean, if you had like a funky techno dance break in the middle of the Winter Soldier, it would have been a little jarring. I think that wouldn't have fit. It would have been Ultra.
It would have been Civil War.
Yeah. Okay, you could put a funky disco dance break in there.
Do it in Queens.
They had so many other things they had to like service in Civil War. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I all of these movies are a puzzle of like, well, we got to service this thing to go here or this to go here. So like I get that Zemo was an opportunity to like, shorthand this thing and we'll move through it quickly. But this is a much.
I love being serviced. As a fan, I gotta say. I love being serviced.
That's what these movies do. Is they got 4 other projects they have to like tee up while they're telling you the story.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
It is a masterpiece, James. It captures the African American experience.
Sharon Carter, who's grown bitter and resentful since the man she stalked for a living went back in time to bang her great aunt. And John Walker, the heir apparent to the Kool-Aid guy. Oh yeah! He may look the part, but this blonde-haired hunk still isn't ready to take on the mantle of America's next Kurt Russell. Also, Julia Louis-Dreyfus pops up at the end, because everyone in Hollywood is obligated to join the MCU at this point. You're next, Costanza.
This whole universe is against me.
Props to Kevin for, I think Kevin did that.
No one will escape the fury of the Flag Smashers, a movement with a nefarious plan to deliver food and medicine to refugees. But don't worry, they'll kill just enough people to qualify as villains.
I agree.
Known as pulling the Killmonger.
I just can't give it the way you fight.
You tell him, Falcon. She needs to join the military first. That's the MCU's license to kill. To combat his rising threat of poor people having nowhere to live, Sam must become a new kind of Captain America. One who will call out the problems with our system.
Do you guys like the suit? No, right? Okay, just checking.
I'm good with everything neck down. I think neck down, I'm fine. It's the like goggle visor band. First of all, it just looks uncomfortable and weird, like wearing a sleeve around your face, but it's also just it's just weird, and especially him delivering like that very impassioned Sorkin-y speech to the senators wearing this headgear was just like, at least take the goggle.
I mean, I didn't realize, it's not as bad as seeing Batman during the day, but I didn't realize that Captain America, when you became Captain America, you basically just had to like put the suit on, even if you were just like walking around asking people questions. Like John Walker is just like walking through Europe dressed as Captain America.
How you doing? Yeah.
I would totally assume that was, like a guy on Hollywood Boulevard that you could take a selfie with for like.
Well, otherwise you have to constantly be introducing yourself like, hey, John Walker, I am Captain America. So anyway, I was, like that's all.
I get it for fighting. If you're like, I'm going into a fight, I'm going to suit up. But like when you're just chilling, maybe he could have like a duster or something over it that he could pop off if he needs to fight.
He doesn't need a mask. He had a press conference announcing who he was. It's not a secret identity.
Yeah, well, they ditched like the sunglasses and the hats now, so they don't know what to wear anymore.
Oh, that's right, the Marvel undercover uniform.
Yeah, that's all gone now.
Yeah.
I don't. Otherwise, like, it looks like a Captain America integrated with Falcon features costume. It's just that head thing does. It looks like Invincible.
It's that like Jim Lee head cutout thing with the white shoulders. Bad, not good. Don't like it. Very great, Jean Grey in the 90s. It's very 90s.
Yep.
That's exact. It's that X-Men. Right. Yep. They all wear those.
Whatever that's called, where it's
things.
Around the face. A head
cowl. That's exact. Well, a cowl is like Batman's thing. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. It just looks very weird with his little ear sticking out there.
He's gonna catch so many bugs in his teeth when he's flying around.
It's got the little ear hole flap. It's just a bad.
Yeah. If anyone needed to have their face covered, it's the guy who's flying around in a jetpack, like through. I imagine like through Louisiana, perhaps, where it's just
also
just covered in dead mosquitoes on his face. Hold on.
It's a little problematic.
Comes with a flosser.
It's not great.
All right, keep going.
Of Captain America, one who will call out the problems with our system.
If you people have just as much power as an insane god,
then ask them to do better and hope that it changes anything.
You've got to do better, Senator.
Honestly, the fact that this speech works is the least realistic part of the MCU, and they share a universe with this guy.
Yeah, pause. I mean, this is just like Marvel's whole relationship to, I guess, politics or just the world at large is like power. I think the way they phrase it is like power just makes people more of themselves. So it's like we just have to make sure that the right people have superpowers. We just have to make sure that the right guy doesn't get too powerful, like rather than addressing anything, more systematic or like about society. They seem to always be protecting us from like the one individual who gets too strong. Like, I don't know. I'm obviously not looking to comic book movies to address the world's ills in like a thoughtful way, but this one tried to, and their answer was like, well, we can leave the system in place that caused all these problems, but if the right people are wearing the special suits, then everything will be okay.
Big speech, everybody. Big speech.
Yeah. They're victims of their own success. I think that like you could play this game for a few years of like, we're raising these real issues and like, let's really talk about who should have power. Should anybody have this power? But the fact of the matter is, they've got to keep making new superhero stuff all the time, which is always about heroes. Yeah,
it's almost
that
like
have
built
a lot of
into
power.
the genre of like an individual changing everything because they use their power responsibly.
Right. They can't write one where they conclude that it's wrong for an individual to have powers and everybody gives their powers up.
Well, in fact, they do. They gave that to Zemo, the villain.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, you couldn't have that be the end of one of these because then it's like, well, okay, sorry, Eternals, but we decided it's wrong for you to have all of this power.
Yeah. Wow, what a reactionary genre this is. I just love to watch them punch and shoot laser beams of different colors at each other. You can't have that in Bernie Sanders America. You can't have laser beams.
I think at some level it's about recognizing that it's a power fantasy while also trying to at least not just make it that and also bring up other interesting things. Like if you could service both I did service again. If you could serve both of those needs, I think you're doing a good job.
But I think there's just two instances with like the Flag Smashers and then with Isaiah, what's his last name?
Bradley.
Where it's like they bring up like with the Flag Smashers, I feel like the show went out of its way to be like, they are correct, their cause is just and they are in the right, but they killed people. Like that's all they have to invalidate them is like, but they killed somebody, without taking on the ideology of it or like, it really engaging with that. And similar with Isaiah Bradley, it's like he's been completely wronged and betrayed by his country, but he got a statue, so it's all good. Like he got recognized, he got him. Like again, like the solutions are all individual to the problems that are all societal. But again, it's Marvel. What do you expect? We're not looking for, I can't think of any smart books right now.
Smart book words.
Insert smart book right here.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they're looking for the credit, and I think that some is due for raising the issue. They're never going to come up with a good take on it or resolve these questions because they can't. They have to come back to the status quo at the end.
Yeah.
So they're at least they're engaging us in these conversations.
Yeah. All right. Keep going.
So enjoy a show that feels like a stretched out B-tier Marvel movie that annoyingly makes you stay up late to watch every episode unless you want it spoiled on Twitter. Ah, dang it! In this enjoyable series that deepens existing characters, bring some big budget action to the small screen, and adds crucial new information to the Marvel Universe. The Avengers don't get paid.
How do you guys make a living?
There's a tremendous amount of goodwill.
Right, but you couldn't have been living off of goodwill this whole time. We cannot approve you. Is there some kind of fun for heroes, or?
So this is why Scarlet Witch drives a Buick.
So pause. I mean, that's just crazy to me that like, I mean, Tony Stark, whatever, like he's not technically the head of the Avengers, right? He's just like kind of providing the facilities, although he is a mega billionaire. He could kick him some money. Pepper Potts, you'd think she's like more thoughtful and like always crossing the T's and dotting the I's. She might do something. Nick Fury, SHIELD, like why isn't SHIELD paying them anything?
I think there's a few questions here. Like you do have to take into account that there was that period post-Civil War where Sam and Bucky specifically were rogue. Like obviously they weren't drawing paychecks when they were hiding out from the government. Like William Hurt sees them and is like, arrest those men, they're not going to get paid. We understand they're not getting paid during that period. It's before then. And then subsequently, now that they came back and saved the world, there was no Like the Department of Defense didn't cut everyone who fought in that Portals battle like a check, like thanks a lot.
And is Falcon like doing all that sort of quasi mercenary work at the beginning for free, like just to feel alive? I feel like he should get paid.
I'm assuming at that point he's got to be drawing some kind of military salary at that point.
But not enough to buy lunch. Like him and Torres were talking, and he was like, "I'll get you next time."
Well, so maybe he's like, who knows what his rent is? Like he could have other expenses we don't know about. I don't know.
But
the Snap messed everything up. Snap messed up Snap. So,
if you can't monetize being an Avenger, do better. get a Cameo account. License your name to a burger chain. Like, come on.
How much would you pay for him to say "do better" in a cameo?
Oh, Anthony Mackie as Falcon?
No, just Falcon.
Oh, just Falcon. Just the Falcon. I'm in the universe, and Falcon's on there.
Yeah.
That's easy. An easy 500. Like if they're
Oh, for Falcon to say like "Happy birthday" to your friend, yeah.
If Mark McGrath is 100, Falcon is 500.
This guy saved the world, like the whole world.
Yeah.
You would. That's the other thing. Like, so everybody knows about. Like, we've deduced from all these other post-blip shows and films. The whole world knows everything that happened at that battle. Like, we've all heard the updates. So everybody who fought there has been like, those people are all like, they have reality shows. They've been on some talk
People take
show,
selfies like with him during this show. He's just got to.
Well, but I mean, those are like the main heroes. But I mean, like, if you were like one of the sorcerers from, like that you were just at that battle, you would still be. People would want to talk to you about it. Like, you may not be like super famous, but you'd be like a third stringer from Tiger King level fame. Like
Joel McHale would Skype with you for
right, like not the main guy, but like the guy who produced the reality show with the crazy deep voice. Like you'd be like that guy.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Starring
The Black Falcon was denied a bank loan.
I, Stan Sebastian, Baron's Dance Grooves, The Carter 2, A Wolf in Veep's Clothing, Goldie Spawn. Just when I thought this country couldn't get any meaner, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. Power Punch Girl. It's those Antiva super soldiers I've been hearing about. And Sam's on a boat. Sam's on a boat.
Stuff.
Everybody look at Sam because he's sailing on a boat.
Stuff,
Sam's on a boat. Sam's on a boat. Take a good hard look at Sam's sister's parents' boat. Sky Captain and the Shield of Tomorrow.
We're in a very Lonely Island kick. We did a Hot Rod reference.
They're practically
last week.
begging us to do a stairs montage, huh?
I wish I remembered the music cue for stairs because people always ask, like eternal remembrance or something.
Like that.
Wait, cut the music. No. You can't stare bait us like that. Your stares are too forced. Stairs have to be natural.
You're doing the staring thing again.
Yeah, I feel like they were asking for it. They're like, come on, you want to do the stare things. You didn't stare that much.
There's a lot of staring, but it's like meta staring. Like they baked it into their personality.
Couple of stare bears over there. Yeah, well, this was kind of a tough one to do, I think, overall, just because it was like pretty good, and that's the honest trailer danger zone. I think is like you can't say, oh, it's the most incredible thing, here's why, and you can't say, oh, this is garbage, here's why. You just go like, yeah, that was all right.
Well, I feel like
enjoyed
especially coming off of WandaVision, which whether you liked it or not, so out there. What a big swing that was. So there's a lot to talk about and pick apart, good or bad.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I mean, I like this show and I get what they were doing, but it feels a lot more like a conventional TV action adventure series, like it fit into some more obvious buckets. And so there wasn't as much like, what? Whereas WandaVision, you could just go all day. It was like, witches having goo battles and robots and sitcoms and
more sitcom goo battle robots, please. Take bigger swings. It's more fun to watch and to talk about. But anything else to say about this before we go into the deleted scenes? No. All right, let's watch the deleted scenes.
It was good. I liked it.
That shield's the closest thing I've got left to a family.
Man, and I thought collecting Funko Pops was depressing.
That was a
Man,
Joe
and I thought
suggestion.
Wanda conjuring her dead husband was sad. Honestly, the fact that this speech works is the least realistic part of the MCU, and this year's a universe with a cranky space raccoon. Starring Hawkeye,
Birdman,
Bird Person, Return of the Mackie, Army of One.
the one-armed man.
My name is Buck, and I like to chalk. Bury me with my metal arm. Don't trust the Z in a jail in Germany.
Every
Rules.
time there's an arm
It's
thing.
fun to fall with the Z.
We've done it once, no?
Sharon.
The Queen Pin, Naughty or Niece, Go-Go Power Broker, Julia Fury Dreyfus. How much you want to bet he could throw a football over the mountains? American Idiot. Look at me. I am Captain now. Homelander, iCarly, Horizon Anti-Hero Dawn. Holy crap, is that Mantis? Shield of Dreams. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Team America, World Police. Recast in America.
This serum is how we make change.
If you're keeping the super soldier serum in a fanny pack, you deserve to get him smashed. Now that Sam's got the shield, can someone teach him how to fight? His record ain't so great.
Yeah, man, it's pretty tough. Spider-Man's pretty tough. Lost a French guy who can kick real good.
Petrock.
Going down the ladder.
Okay, Captain America really should be able to beat Batroc the Leaper. I have to say, I really admire that they ended this series with no hint about how he's going to be. Like, we've decided super soldier serums are bad, so he's not going to take that. So, like, how is he? He's just going to be a regular man with a jetpack?
With a shield and a jetpack, yeah. I mean, Iron Man's a regular man with a suit of armor that shoots lasers.
It's full of missiles. Like, if they were like, and Falcon gets 2 guns now, I'd be like, fine. Yeah. Like if he could, like if he could do a John Woo thing.
Yeah.
The Wakandans, maybe it's all special now.
Yeah, they can give him a little upgrade, but
he's got to be able to like shoot something at you, or like he's gonna just continue to get worse.
There's levels to this, though. If there's a mad space titan, they call somebody with superpowers, and if there's like a disgruntled refugee who's trying to help people, you call Falcon.
But even that, like, he would have lost. Like, without Zemo and Bucky and the Dora Milaje, like, he's only getting through this one because he's got a lot of help.
Yeah. And like it's like the Iron Man thing where like, what are you without the suit? Oh, billionaire playboy philanthropist. Like, what are you without the suit? I'm kind of broke.
I got a boat. Yeah, I got the boat.
Boat owner.
A fully recently refurbished boat. Okay?
Recently refurbished
looks really
boat.
nice now. I repainted my parents' name on the side.
My sister and my best friend might make out. That's weird. Yeah, he's got like nothing.
I don't date.
It's. I mean, I like Sam Wilson. I want him to have a fighting chance out there. Like, let's give him some guns. That's all I'm saying. It's like they're not doing the Punisher. Like, I'm sorry, I really like John Bernthal's take on the Punisher. I would be like, bring him in. But if they're not going to, just give Captain America the Punisher stuff.
Yeah, give him all the Punisher stuff.
He's got like a huge chain gun now.
Make him into a bird gun that shoots birds. All right, let's go into the chat. What have you guys been saying about this? What's the ideal show / characters you'd like to see on Disney Plus if you had your druthers? Anything on the wish list or?
I mean, they're doing my #1 pick right now, which is Moon Knight. I've been long saying Moon Knight would be an awesome character, and like Oscar Isaac's going to be Moon Knight, so I'm as hyped as really cool. Could possibly be to see that one for sure.
Yeah,
I think the Dora Milaje would be mine. Like, if you could have one, just have like them going off. We've seen that they can be super spies in different countries, and they have a plethora. I want to see all their wigs. They have so many wigs that they use because you can't just walk around being a bunch of hot black chicks with bald heads. Everyone's gonna know you're the Dora Milaje now. So now everybody's got to have a wig. So that's when I want the Dora Milaje wig special. There we go.
I also feel like a show like a Succession or Billions type show set in the world of like evil Marvel CEOs, where like every CEO is
Hammer,
like super evil, and they all hate each other, and they're all constantly trying to like one up and steal from each other. Like, there's a great show to be done. Yeah, you definitely bring Rockwell back as Hammer, and maybe you pretend Corey Stoll didn't die in Ant-Man, or Bridges like as Obadiah Stane. Like, if you could prequel this or something.
I don't think I can beat that. That's fantastic. I was gonna say something like, what's Mysterio's real name?
Quentin Beck.
Quentin Beck. Him and Trevor Slatterly just like teaching an acting school of villain impersonation.
Yes,
I would definitely like maybe a Barry type thing where they're also doing crime afterwards.
Oh my god. Dude, that's so good. Trevor Slattery is like, dude, just him like in a Toast of London type.
Yes, trying to get his next role after the Mandarin.
As this like, oh my god, I want to see that really bad.
I played the Mandarin. Awesome. Why is he Austin Powers? Anyways. All right. Stephen H. writes, I have a question loosely tied to Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm going to be 30 in a few years, and I want to know, how do people make friends in their 30s? Seriously.
I don't know. Get on a show where you talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier for money, and then all of a sudden now you have friends.
Every friend I made in my 30s was from doing this. Yeah,
it's usually through work, or once you join the parent club, then you always have like. It's weird when you're young. It's like, oh, you two are the same age. Go hang out. And now it's like, oh, you two are dads. Like, go over there while the kids do the thing. Like, so, do you like sports? I like sports.
Wow, you get dad friended.
You get dad friended because then because the moms really click and they want to do the play dates all the time, and then the dads are like. Yeah, so those are your two options. It's kind of sad.
So like beer, maybe.
Beer, you do beer.
You wanted cars, one of those.
Yeah, sure.
Hong Kong, great.
Hong Kong. Cars, Hong Kong.
Well, that's what, as a young man, I felt like it really hurt my ability to make dude friends that I didn't know about sports, cars, or computers. Like those were the three things I needed to know about.
Yeah, you got to fake your way through it. But now I think like Marvel has like kind of broken things wide open, and gaming is so much more popular. Like you can bring up some nerd topics and not get stuffed into a locker, which is still where I have it.
I could have talked about Lord of the Rings all day, but that was not a thing when I was a young man you could do. That was not that was not part of the cars, sports, and computers world.
All right, Pat Magana writes, I'm not super crazy about the Sharon Power Broker reveal. I think the show could have benefited from more episodes, one of them starring Sharon that showed us her transformation into a villain. Yeah, they haven't done a great job when people are like, oh, she must be a Skrull.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
I just think it was a little obvious. Like it was obvious by like episode 3 that she was the power broker, and then before they even like revealed it, they basically revealed that she would be like, oh yeah, I know some people who have some helicopters, I'll take care of it. Like, wait, are you the power broker? Like,
I mean, there were two choices. It was her or Zemo somehow, and they ruled out Zemo pretty fast. So okay.
Right, so it was just like kind of a nothing like reveal once you actually got there, because they made it too easy to figure out, and there were no other candidates who it could have been.
Yeah, no red herrings.
Right.
So
it just felt like it kind of landed with a thud. It was just like, okay, is there not another turn coming here? Great.
Yeah.
Pedro Benitez writes, did you notice that Bucky straight up stabs a goon through the heart with a pole and is still a hero, while John Walker is stripped of everything? They all kill. Yeah, I did find it kind of I was a little incredulous that like the new Captain America is chasing down like a wanted terrorist, and the fact that he killed him with his shield, we're pretending that wouldn't be cheered by 50% of America. They would be like, yeah, that's my captain.
I mean, it was cheer. We know for a fact that would happen because we saw it happen in real time.
What do you mean? Was it? I thought he got stripped of all of his
fans. No, in the world of the show. I mean, real world fans were very divided on whether to support John Walker post Shield murder.
Right, got it. Yeah, I didn't. Man, I got to get back on. I don't have to get back on Twitter. No.
You don't I do not need to know this. I'm just saying that's pretty good evidence that would have happened if there was a real Captain America as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're making a point. I think the way that the show, the way it was depicted on the series is that it was bad not only in like don't kill, murder is always wrong, but the spectacle of it, that he didn't have the self-awareness or composure to see the whole world is watching, you're being filmed in front of this huge, we're here to win hearts and minds, and you're still going to like revenge murder this guy because of your buddy. And I think that was as much, it was he lost control.
Because Captain America is like a mascot at this point.
Because it's both.
Who fights crime.
You're a soldier, but you're not just a soldier. And this is what Steve implicitly understood, that you're a beacon, you're a symbol.
I mean, that was his first Captain America-ing, was just doing, USO shows and stuff like that. So he had that part down first. That's how they needed to do the training. Is first you could do the song and dance, and then if you're good at that, you get to do the crime fighting.
Yeah, right. Maybe why Russell just needed a year or two in the USO to like get his sea legs under him. Yeah.
Okay.
We still got to see as the USO send them to Afghanistan. Let them cheer those guys up.
Fair question from TN. Why did Zemo have the last of the Flag Smashers blown up in the last episode?
He has a whole thing about super soldiers. Yeah.
Were they at that point? They had all taken it? Yeah. I guess they had. Yeah. Well, that's why. And let's see.
Them up, get rid of all the serum. You wipe them all out so nobody can take a blood sample and recreate the tech.
Yeah. Finally, Thur Bongcaver. Hope I got that right. Can we talk about how Isaiah Bradley didn't want his name out there, and Sam literally put his name on a statue in a museum? Well, yeah, there's what you say and then there's what you mean, right? But yeah, I don't think they.
He certainly seemed happy once he saw it. The gesture worked. So
yeah,
I do think you ask first, maybe.
It's not something you spring on somebody. Is like your own wing of the museum.
I honestly feel like.
Can you pose here and I'll just take a bunch of pictures?
I feel like someone from the Smithsonian definitely contacts you if you're alive and an entire exhibit is being planned about.
Maybe you want to be there at the opening.
Yeah, I feel like some docent is going to give you a call. Can we get a quote? Something? This new wing of the Smithsonian dedicated to you specifically?
Yeah. All right, and finally, Evan J. Pretzer asks, if the George Costanza character was in the MCU, who would he play? Well, let's just say if Jason Alexander was in the MCU, who should he play?
That's what I think they're asking. Yeah, is who would Jason Alexander play in the MCU?
I mean, Patton Oswalt's about to play him in animation, but I feel like the look for MODOK is there. Yeah. The live-action MODOK would definitely be a possibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Thing, he could be Ben Grimm.
Oh, he'd be a great Thing. I want him as Wolverine.
He's got the height. Finally,
he's got the height and the fury.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the height.
He's probably pretty hairy. I bet he's a hirsute
fellow. we could hair him up in post.
CGI.
Yeah, that's my pick. All right, you guys. This is super fun. In fact, we'll do it again next week when we discuss. Let's see. Well, it won't be a discussion so much as it'll be a test of our strength. That will be that. That's your clue for next week. We'll be back. Can't wait for that one. This has been fun, though. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Lon. And thank you, audience. We'll see you next week on Honest Trailer Commentaries. Bye-bye.